Today we're going to be breaking down and helping you understand aperture, shutter speed, and ISO. These are three main components when it comes to video and photography. First, let's discuss shutter speed. Shutter speed is the amount of time your shutter is open to let light into your camera. This affects the motion blur of an image as well as the amount of light let into your camera. Here are a few examples of shutter speed where we set the frame rate and the shutter speed to different amounts so you can understand exactly what we mean. Here is the first example at 24 frames a second at 1/48 shutter speed. Here is the second example at 30 frames a second with a 1/60 shutter speed. And here is the third example at 60 frames a second with a 1/125 shutter speed. As you guys can see, as we increase the shutter speed, the motion blur becomes less and less each time. Next, we're going to discuss aperture, which is the size of the opening of your lens to let in light. Aperture also affects the blurriness in the background, also known as bokeh. The higher your aperture, the less depth of field you'll have, and the whole frame will be in focus. The lower your aperture, the more depth of field you'll have, and your background will be blurred, and your subjects in front will be in focus. Your aperture is measured in f-stop, such as f2.8, f5.6, and so on. Next, we're going to discuss ISO. Your ISO is your camera's sensitivity to light. The higher your ISO, the more light that will be let in. The lower your ISO, the less light that will be let in. But just remember, if you raise your ISO, you're going to introduce grain. So you want to make sure that your ISO usually stays about the range of your native ISO of your camera, which is anywhere from 800 to 12,800 depending on what camera you're using. ISO works together with your other camera settings such as aperture and shutter speed to measure the amount of light let into your camera. If you change your ISO, you'll need to change your aperture and shutter speed to make sure you correct your image highlights and shadows. You don't want an overexposed image and you don't want an underexposed image. Using these three in combination will surely get you out of auto and into manual shooting where you can get the best use of your camera and create the highest quality image possible. I hope this video has helped you guys understand aperture, shutter speed, and ISO. Until the next one.